Hello YouTube, this is Waynisha Smith and I am doing a TV show review of Grimm, the last episode of the season, the season finale. I don't know about you guys, but this season was on fire. It was freaking great. There were one or two episodes I did not care for, but after that it was great. I enjoyed myself. Now I am here just to talk to you about the pros of this episode. I don't really feel like going in order. I'm just going to tell you what I loved and what I basically saw coming. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you who dies. Somebody dies in this that I didn't want to die. I was not prepared for them to die. I didn't want them to go anywhere. If anything, I wanted him to be captain. And that is Meisner. Throughout this whole season, Meisner, I thought he was a Vessin and we was never going to see his Vessin form, his face. And we never got to saw Meisner's Vessin form. But then we found out he's not Vessin, he's a human. A very strong human. A very strong human that can take on the most strongest and powerful of the Vessins. He probably went through some vigorous training as something that allows him to fight even the most powerful Vessins. That even Hank has problem dealing with. And he just dies. I wasn't prepared to lose Meisner. Okay, and moving on from that, Eve dies. Eve is gone, guys. And I don't think Juliet's a Hexenbeast anymore. I think the destruction part of that stick is that it destroys all evil. Maybe it destroys all evil, and Hexenbeasts are honestly might just be evil, or maybe they're not. I don't know. I'm so confused with it because that stick healed. Juliet says, Trouble asks Juliet, how do you feel? And Juliet says, alive. And throughout the season, Eve has been basically saying Juliet is dead. So, I don't know, maybe the stick brought Eve alive, and as the Hexenbeast died, the stick was probably like, okay, I can only save one of you, so I'm going to save Juliet, the more nicer person, and bring back the nicer person, and let the Hexenbeast, the power, and everything die. And which is kind of good because a lot of people, I don't know about you guys, but I'm okay with Adeline and Nick being together forever. I'm perfectly, if the show wants to end like that, I'm fine with it. But now Juliet's back, and I'm also fine with Nick and Juliet being together forever. That's actually my preferred couple. Like, couple number 1, Juliet and Nick. Couple number 2, Adeline and Nick. Above all of them, Monroe and Rosalie, we know they're going to be together forever, everybody. So anyway, this was a good episode. It was great, everybody. So I'm just going to talk to you about the meat of this episode. In this episode, people just keep being in Monroe and Rosalie's front house, and Monroe and Rosalie just chase them off. They got away the first time. They didn't get away the second time. Because Monroe and Rosalie just Eve just kills them. Like, she just heats up their bodies and make their head explode. And that was just, wow. I was like, poor guys. And also, we got to see something very, very lore-based inside this show. Something very lore-based. We know that the Vessin community either fears or hate Grimms. So seeing Nick, they basically show their hatred for him, talk smack about him as he's being brought in, and he sat down in the chair. And whatever his name is, Mara1, whatever his name is, tells him that if you work for me and give me the book, I will give you back your son. And luckily someone comes in and saves him. And for a minute, conflict goes in Nick's mind, where he's basically like, if I give him this book, every Grimm is going to die. Or join up with their side. And they just don't need that. Grimms need to be kept a secret wherever they are at. Or is. And he's just left up with this big decision. So basically, I'm going to speed up and go to Monroe and Rosalie and that guy that kept calling the house. And the guy who kept calling the house, he was just sitting there acting all tough, like, you're not gonna do nothing to me. And Nick was like, we ain't got time for this. We got a war coming. People, Vestin are trying to kill me. My partner is missing, and I need information. So he gets everybody out the room. She gets Rosalie out the room. Like, we asked you nicely the first time, you ain't listening. And he was like, the man was like, where are you guys going? He was like, and he saw Monroe, and the guy just looked at Nick like, who is this? Oh, this is Rosalie's husband. And he Vogue turned into a blue bot, and that guy was so freaking scared. And they left the room, and all you hear is banging and people scream, the guy screaming in pain. And when Monroe came out the room, he gave him the location, and Nick was like, thanks, no. And Monroe was like, no, thank you. Rosalie looked through the whole thing. She was just smiling like this, like, da, 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 da. Nobody can touch me anymore. I got me a husband. Da, 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 da. And they go rescue Hank, who was captured, and stuff like that. And we rescue Hank, but that turns out to be just a distraction so that HW, Adrian's Wall, gets taken down. And I was so upset because Meisner dies, and as he's dying, he's being tortured, and the captain's looking at him, and he tells the full-on blown Zegaburst that's enough. Stop it, you're hurting him, that's enough. And the man doesn't want to stop, and the captain pulls out his gun and shoots him. To be honest, I used to thought the captain was so brave, but to be honest, when push comes to shove and he knows that he's losing and he doesn't want to struggle, he doesn't want to be to that point where he's struggling and he's on the run to survive. And he'll definitely strike a bargain, especially if that bargain involves power. So basically, he betrayed everybody to save his own butt and try to bring them along, but they're not just going to turn their back on the human race and everybody else just because of his fear and stuff like that. So basically, he betrays everybody, and he doesn't want to. And the captain kills Meisner as a mercy kill, but I was just sitting there like, was it worth it, Renard? Was it worth it? Was the power, the struggle, the thing, was it worth it? And we just watched Meisner die. After that, they're gone, and everybody comes and they see that Meisner is dead, and everybody's upset. Trouble is upset, and I'm like, we should have ride or die. We should have stormed the castle, got your son, and kill a few Vestin. And after that, we head on off to after I already done explained to you guys about how Nick got captured and stuff like that. So we're just gonna skip on over to the part where they're inside the house and the house is being taken over by Vestin. But before that, Nick gets the stick and he puts it in this thing, and he uses it to heal Juliet from fighting that Zegaburst. By the way, that fight between Juliet and the Zegaburst was on fire. I was like, get him, Juliet. We've been waiting for this. And Juliet, she she beats him up, and the man looked like, oh my god, she's actually tougher than she thinks, than I knew that she would be. And we just throw him across the room, and he lifts up those things, and he stabs Juliet inside the stomach. And now we're gonna fast forward back to the house, and Nick used the stick to heal Juliet, and her Hexen Beast dies. And that was kind of sad because I like Juliet Hexen Beast. I really do. But after Adrian's wall is gone, what's she going to do? Is she going to go on the evil side or what? So maybe that was a good call to bring her back. Or maybe she could have been running Adrian's Wall and set up a new council. And I also want Monroe and Rosalie to be part of that council. I totally can see those two being part of the new council. So after that, Nick, he sends everybody down the tunnels and tells them to go. And he is like a one-man army taking down Vestin after Vestin. He's getting shot going on the ground. Like, one Vestin turns around like, okay, he's dead. And when the man get back up, Nick cuts him in the stomach with an axe. And I was like, Nick, you are the true warrior. Go, Nick. You got your Harry Potter stick. You invincible. and we head on off to let's skip to the house with what's her name is Adeline and Diana. Diana and Adeline have a conversation, and Diana sees marks on her mother's neck, and she stops and pauses like, "Mom, how did this happen to you?" And what's her name? Juliet, Diana, Adeline's like, "Oh, no, it's nothing, sweetie, I'm fine." And Diana was like, "How did that happen to you? Did Daddy do it?" Because in her head, she was like, "I might just have to kill my own father." And Adeline said, "No, it wasn't your dad. Did Daddy friend do this to you?" And she didn't really give her an answer. She said, "No, he didn't do it either." She didn't say give her an answer. She just like, "I'm fine, sweetie." And she sends her to bed. And after that, I just knew that he was going to die by Diana. So now back to the house where Nick is fighting off Vess, and the guy comes up with the captain, and the captain is just standing there, and the guy's like choking Nick with the force. And the captain picks up a knife and stabs him, but it turns out to be Diana stabbing the guy in the back with the doll with a needle. And she basically controls her father to kill somebody, which is scary but kind of good. So after that, we just head on off, and it ends like that. We don't know what's gonna happen, but that was just a good season finale, and I am looking forward to season 3. This was just, wow, a great season. I cannot wait for season 3. Not season 3, but season 6. And unfortunately, it has to be over, everybody. It has to be over. Season 6 is the last episode. It's the last season, and we're only getting 13 episodes. To be honest, this is a good show, and I don't feel like it should end. But if it has to end, let it end nicely and well. So bye, everybody. Let me know in the comment section what you thought of this season. And have a good day. And if you don't mind, after season 6 next year, I'm going to be in a show because I have literally nothing else to watch. Bye, everybody.